On the last episode, the Southeast Gassers were at Shadyside Dragway in North Carolina, where we saw Jerry Dean put Randy Kiefer on the trailer for his second win in a row. Todd Oden got a C-Gas victory, B-Gas saw Colby Welch get his second win in as many races, and Gabriel Burrell's Southern Flyer took the victory from Barry Lynn and his Little Red Wagon. Are you ready? Here we go. This time the Southeast Gassers take over the Midwest. It's Kil-Kare Raceway in Xenia, Ohio for the Buckeye Nationals, brought to you by Decked Out Restorations. I'm your host, Mike Narks. Kil-Kare Raceway has been operating for over 60 years and has seen a murderer's row of competitors with the likes of Big Daddy Don Garlitz, Shirley Muldowney, TV Tommy Ivo, and Bob Glidden. Today, the Southeast Gassers have come to add their names to its storied history. And what a better way to kick off this race than with some good old-fashioned heads-up racing. Let's go to David Lancaster for the call of round one in Superstock.
Bryant Dalton Sr. out of Sevierville, Tennessee in the Dalton Gang Falcon right here on the Quick Time Performance left side. Going to take on Eddie Willis in the Gift. Eddie out of the Indiana area. One Way Technologies provides the horsepower for that super stocker over in the Mortgage Options right lane. A lot of spin right there for Eddie Willis on the starting line. Is that going to be enough for Dalton to get him? And it is. Lack of traction in the right-hand lane for Eddie Willis is going to send Bryant Dalton Sr. to the second round here today. All right, Alan Lovelady, the number 5 qualifier here today, is going to be in that Camaro, the underdog. He's got a big task on hand right here, taking on Randy Kiefer, the spine tingler out of Cookeville, Tennessee. Kiefer with a good reaction time right there, and he puts it to bed early. Randy Kiefer destroyed Alan Lovelady on the starting line, so he'll move on to the next round where he'll take on Bryant Dalton.
So tell me about today.
Well, we're a little bit on the struggle bus, but I think we're after it the best we can. I know this weather's not cooperating, but you know, we're just trying to get an A to B. So.
How'd you like this drive up here?
It's not bad. This is my hometown. I grew up about 20 minutes from here, so it's kind of a little mini family reunion for me. So it's all good. So
next up, number 1 qualifier Jerry Dean gets the number 6 qualifier Kim Haynes in the Bad Apple. Bad Apple going to be over there in the Mortgage Options lane on the right-hand side, and Jerry Dean choosing to take the Quick Time Performance lane here on the left side. Jerry Dean, once again, has a bounty on his head. He has not been beaten in 2024. Jerry Dean makes quick work of Kim Haynes right there as Haynes continues to try to work out the bugs in that Bad Apple car.
Tell me about today.
Today's pretty good. We're having a little trouble leaving, but we're getting there with that. This is a good place to race, and we're glad to be here. And just hope the rain will hold off and let us get the show in.
How's the track feeling? Because it was awful green.
It's still green up yonder. Down through here is okay, but the first 60, 80 foot's pretty slick. And you got, we have lowered our leave RPM tremendously, and still spinning, so we about done all we know to do. We just got to live with it. Of course, it's the same for everybody, so that's a good thing, but I wish it'd stick.
There's round 1 of Superstock. Note that this event is only a 6-car field. Because of this, Superstock won't be in the normal run order for this event.
Bryant Dalton Sr., who was still in eliminations, had a family emergency, had to head back home, so we're going to go ahead and run the finals. That's going to be Jerry Dean, the man who has undefeated here in 2024. He's going to be taking on Randy Kiefer in that big spine tingler Pontiac right here in the Quick Time Products left lane. Both cars are in and away. Kiefer with an advantage on the starting line. Looks like that's been quickly made up by Dean, and Jerry Dean powers on past to take the win. So Jerry Dean remaining undefeated.
Great run. Car finally stuck in the right lane. We've been working towards that all day, and to the little thank Randy Kiefer, good friends, good people, their whole crew. They just excellent folks, and we cut up and kid, and they're good competitors. And he's had a little bad luck. Today's reason we're getting this over with, and wish him the best, and just wish him the best.
Talk to me about how well they got the track back.
Well, I've been in the left lane all day, and because I didn't want the right lane because it was bad, but they seemed to have heft it when after the rain, and we tried to do some stuff to the car to help it, and then we just seemed to get out it real good. So we tickled to death, and wish everybody. Hope they enjoyed this. It's a good show, and they need to follow these gasser classes and these cars because it's a real good show. It is, and we appreciate everybody.
Here is your Super Stock Final. And by the way, a green track is a track that is free of rubber, oil, and grease buildup that happens naturally over a race or a season. A green track can definitely reduce traction. The combination of a green track and the threat of rain should make for some interesting racing today. David, give us round one of SEGAS.
Gary Purdue in the Adams County Outlaw right here. Purdue, the number 10 qualifier in today's competition. The young blood Josh Pruitt, Jared Purdue in the Adams County Outlaw. Josh Pruitt out of Inman, South Carolina, the number 3 qualifier here today. He's going to take the mortgage options lane on the right-hand side. Josh Pruitt with the starting line advantage, and he's going to drive it to victory one more time. Put it in the win column for Josh Pruitt.
Track working out for you?
It's terrible. Every time, every pass, we've blown the tires off. That was the worst one so far today, but luckily we still got the win. Hopefully it comes around, but it ain't looking good so far.
Always got to make noise when it's your cool stuff. See what I mean? So, anything different in the car?
Well, this last pass, we messed with the clutch a little bit, try to see if it'd help, with the run, and it didn't. So we about to go back to square one, try to tinker on a little bit more. But no, since the last race, we hit the wall in Georgia, got to Shady Side, thought everything was fine. Ended up my brakes. I didn't have no brakes. So yeah, that was a little interesting. But other than that, just trying to fix what we messed up in Georgia, really.
Tony Hagenhorst in the Wasted Wages, the number 8 qualifier, will be on the mortgage option lane in the right side. The Indian Express, the 1950 Pontiac Chieftain, he's going to be in the Quick Time Performance left side lane. Hagenhorst turns on the red light, so Wallace gets a free shot at it, so he goes down the track in the left-hand side, knowing he's a winner.
So tell me about how's it going today?
It's going pretty well. We've made a lot of adjustments on the car. Finally got the car to drive straight, running pretty good. Pretty happy.
It's a green track, isn't it?
It seems to be. Spinning a little bit.
Okay, so you make any adjustments for that, or?
A little air pressure.
Right, Ernie Smith in the Saturday Night Special, the number 4 qualifier. He'll be in the Quick Time Performance left lane. He's going to be taking on Ron Allison, the number 9 qualifier, in Poppy's Toy, the first time out for that world champion Superstock driver in SEGAS trim. Allison has had his struggles here today in this car as Ernie Smith trying to get to the second round here. Red light for Ron Allison as that car shoots to the wall, and Ernie Smith takes it in a walkover right here. So Ernie Smith's going to get the privilege of running Josh Pruitt in the next round.
How's the day going?
So far today's going pretty good. We qualified at number 4. Had a little engine problem there second round of qualifying. Found it, got it fixed, and we were fortunate enough to go out there and win this first one. So we'll see what we can keep going. I mean, the old priority heat and air, wings, etc. Woodfin towing hot rod. We working hard today, and we're going to see if we can't bring home a win. It's about due time.
All right, Diana Castro, the number 6 qualifier, sits in the right-hand side in the Mortgage Options lane. That 64 Falcon out of Sandyville, West Virginia, the quick draw. He's going to be racing the number 7 qualifier, Robbie Walden, in the 61 Bel Air. That's called Son of Strychnine. So Diana Castro knocks off Robbie Walden right there in a great race as she moves on to second round.
Tell me about today.
Well, after the first pass qualifying, things started looking better. We got a handle on what I needed to do as far as launch-wise, RPM-wise. I haven't even looked at this time slip, but I'm feeling really good about it.
All right, number 2 qualifier right here, Tim Hall, the 2-time and defending world champion. He'll be over in the Mortgage Options lane in the Scalded Dog Rambler. He's going to take on the number 11 qualifier, Jesse Beaver out of Hagerstown, Maryland, in the Voodoo Child. Tim Hall got them standing on their feet, clapping for joy up here, as that's the way a C-Gas car is supposed to leave the line. What a good-looking run right there for Tim Hall.
Tell me how's it going?
Yeah, well, we put a new engine in for this race. Only had that was the 3rd pass on it. We only didn't run it till we got here. And so we're adjusting, making changes, getting a little quicker each run. So I hope we got something for them. If we can get it tuned right, I think it'll be competitive. So
always see a crowd of photographers and onlookers for the 58 Delray, the Double X. Odin won our most recent race at Shady Side Dragway, so he's riding about a 5-round win streak. Todd Odin takes the Double X down the track, nice and solid on that pass. He'll move on, he'll get Diana Castro in the next round.
And there's your first round of C-Gas in the books. Let's see round 1 for B-Gas.
The man they call the Patriot, Daniel Haynes, the number 4 qualifier here and defending race winner of last year's event. And he's going to take on the number 9 qualifier, Kelvin Cannon, out of Elizabethton, Tennessee, in the loose cannon. That'll be here in the quick time performance lane. Cannon turns on the red light, so immediately gives the win over to Haynes, and Haynes is streaking down the racetrack to a nice run for Daniel Haynes. Trying to get some consistency out of that car, and I think he found some right there. Next up, the rod slinger, Adam Lowhorn, comes around the corner. He's going to be over there in the Mortgage Options lane on the right-hand side. He's going to take on Mike Blackwell. Blackwell, the number 3 qualifier here today. Adam Lowhorn, oh, he crosses the center line. So that'll do it for Adam Lowhorn as he had the wheels up in first and second gear. Mike Blackwell kept it clean and straight, and he'll take on Daniel Haynes in the next round. Art Copeland's going to be in the right-hand side in the Mortgage Options lane. That big Barracuda of his called Ain't Done Yet. Rod Bergner, the Iceman, with a long smoky dig right there in his little Chevy too. Bergner with the advantage on the starting line. Can Copeland make up the ground? No, he cannot, as Rod Bergner marches on to round number 2, where he'll get Ted McKee in the next round.
How'd it go?
It went great. The track's coming around. Every pass is getting a little faster. So, hope the rain stays away.
And next up, that's going to be Ken Rainwater over there in the Mortgage Options side. The number 2 qualifier here today. and he's going to be taking on Tim Irwin in the Super Chicken here in the left-hand side on the quick time performance lane. Irwin leaves before the light, and so he turns on the red light. Rainwater going to run it down the racetrack and continues his torrid streak as Rainwater moves on to round number 2. All right, the Hillbilly Hoodlum of Greg Adams. Everything you see about that car in the right-hand side is done by Greg Adams. The dirt man, Rick Varner, going to find himself in the left-hand side. He's the number 5 qualifier here out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. Adams looked like he went in deep, and that's not going to be enough to hold off the charge of Rick Varner, where Varner is going to get a chance to take on Ken Rainwater in round number 2.
No.
2 times in a row. 2 times in a row, I can't get it in 4th gear, so luckily I just got around that round, so next one will be a lot tougher.
Anything you can do between
No, just yank it and just hope it goes in, stays in. Everybody slowed down about a 1/10 today, so I don't feel bad about my numbers.
It's a pretty green track, isn't it?
Yeah, well, usually this track's pretty fast, but everybody so far said they're about a 1/10 slow.
Ted McKee, the number 1 qualifier today, gets a bye run by virtue of that number 1 qualifying spot. He is going to try to make a pass right here for ET to get lane choice.
There you go.
It's doing a lot better. Still, traction's not as good as it was at Shady Side. It's off a little bit, but we're getting there. Car's really done good.
Yeah. How much is the track and how much is the car with the traction?
I'm off a little bit from Shady Side in my 60-foot compared to here, but the mile an hour is up there, so it ought to get in the 60s up here if I can get it to hook up on the start line.
Probably why they call it racing and not winning, huh?
Exactly.
And with some rain starting to fall, here are your B-Gas round 1 results. The rain came down hard at the Buckeye Nationals, but the amazing crew at Kil-Kare Raceway got out on the track as soon as the rain stopped and got it back in shape to safely race on. So with the rain out of the way, we can head back to David for the call of round 1 in A-Gas.
Chase Howard's going to be over in the mortgage options lane on the right side. He's going to be taking on the number 11 qualifier, Grant Murphy, in the honky tonk. He'll be here in the quick time performance lane. Chase Howard, the number 2 qualifier. Grant Murphy, the number 11 qualifier here, matched up in round number 1. Howard's car launches hard, goes left. He transfers it back to the right and takes it on to the win.
Talk to the Goose.
Glad we made it by that first round. We've been on the struggle bus for the past few races. Feels good to get past this first round and get that monkey off my back. We're gonna go out here and hopefully we can take this number 2 qualifying spot to the front.
Kenneth Phillips over in the mortgage options lane in the 58 Corvette, the Silver Streak 2. He's going to be racing Barry Lynn from Greer, South Carolina in the Little Red Wagon. Barry Lynn with the Par race engine underneath the hood of the Little Red Wagon. Jeff Taylor, I'm pretty sure that's a Jeff Taylor big block underneath the hood of that 58 Corvette of Kenneth Phillips. Kenneth Phillips takes that one right there over Barry Lynn, but Lynn giving him all he could handle as Phillips had to drive it through the top end pretty hard.
We had a few problems we didn't know about. We found them. So everything seems to be going good. And we can just wrap this up and take it home.
You guys were fighting the weather and a green track.
It ain't looking good.
Blackwell, the number 3 qualifier in the Slingshot. That is the 1965 Chevy 2. He's going to be taking on the Doraville, Georgia racer Rob Walden in the Strychnine, the 33 Willett. Rob Walden, the son of the legendary Mr. 409, Lamar Walden. Rob Walden turns on the red light and sees it immediately as Todd Blackwell drives it through the big end at a nice lap time.
Anything good?
No. Not where I wanted it. No, this track getting off the line is challenging on these A-gas cars.
Well, the track, everyone says, is green, right?
Yeah.
And with this rain, so you're fighting that.
Yeah.
And how's the car running otherwise?
Car's running pretty good on the top end, but I'm losing it. My 60 foot. There's a tenth and a half right off the get-go that I'm losing. So, and you need that little bit. I know we ain't racing 60 foot, but you still need that little bit to help on the ET. So.
Ben Christopher scheduled to be in the right lane. The Bowling Springs, South Carolina racer. Stelps is the number 5 qualifier right here out of Waupaca, Wisconsin. He's going to take the Quick Time Performance left lane in that 57 Pontiac that he calls the Joker. Christopher all over the racetrack trying to recover. He is out front, but he has too much wiggle in it, and Greg Stelps stays straight and gets down the racetrack. That right lane a little too tricky right there after this rainstorm, and Ben Christopher falls victim to it.
We just got lucky on that one. When I left, I blew the tires off, and I think when Ben hit third gear, he lost control a little bit, so I went running around him and ended up getting a win. Super happy. We'll see what happened next round.
All right, Quayne Stott here in the 48 Anglia. The Executioner 2 will be in the Quick Time Performance lane on the left side, facing Dean Jonas in that 66 Chevy 2 of his that he calls the Agent Orange over in the Mortgage Options right lane. As we've documented before, running the only small block in A-gas competition right here today in that Executioner 2 with a less than 90-inch wheelbase on that Anglia right there. Jonas with a good lead. He's right with Stott. This is a good drag race. Stott goes to the victory. That was decided by 3 thousandths of a second at the line.
Track's a little green, so obviously I didn't make one of my best runs. I should have quit in about second gear, but I didn't see him over there, so I kept hanging on. I run it through third way too long, but I couldn't shift because I was out of the groove, and I knew what happened if I shifted out of the groove, so ended up I finally got it in high gear, and as soon as I did, it back across the center line, but I still won the round as far as I know, unless I crossed.
Gorgeous sunshine beaming down on the track right now, shining off that chick magnet as Robin Harris brings it up to the line. Leslie Horn's going to have a competition single, well, actually a bye run, not a competition single, by virtue of being the number 1 qualifier.
Well, the track's a little green there after the rain. We spun a little bit there. We backed it down a good bit trying to get down through there. I mean, I just wanted to make a point A to B. At least I had a bye run that round. Still probably wasn't that slow of a round anyway. It still felt pretty good, but I had to get out of it a couple of times. But man, I'm just glad to be getting this in. I'm glad we got this sun out. I mean, this rain's followed us all day. We're still just flat getting it, you know. Right now, what we fixing to do, Ray, you know what Morgan Wallen is? We're going to line them up, knock them back, knock them back.
Looking at these results for A-gas, a green track, no problem. Rain, no problem. The Buckeye Nationals roll on here in SEGA round 2.
Sun gonna remarkably might be in the driver's face just a little bit to harm them, but looks like Josh Pruitt, the young blood, gonna be in the Quick Time Performance lane here on the left side in that 63 Ford Fairlane. And Ernie Smith's going to take that 66 Chevy 2 4-door, the Saturday Night Special, and put it in the Mortgage Options lanes over on the right. Ernie Smith with a reaction time advantage, but quickly made up by the 60-foot mark. Josh Pruitt out of Edmond, South Carolina, going to march on to another round.
So how was that track after the rain?
It wasn't bad. You know, we still got something going on with the car. We just can't seem to put our finger on it. You know, we're still fighting it. We're way off on our 60-foot time, mile an hour, everything. So something's going on this weekend, but we made it another round. So.
Well, interesting. Everyone has said 60-foot has been really tough.
Yeah, we are way off on our 60-foot and a little bit of the track, the rain, but we got something going on with the car. We just can't figure it out.
There's Todd Oden coming up next against Diana Casto. Casto in the quick draw 64 Falcon out of Sandyville, West Virginia. Todd Oden in the familiar 1958 Delray, the Double X out of Birmingham, Alabama. Winner of this matchup going to take on the guy who just won in front of them, Josh Pruitt, the Youngblood, in our semifinal matchup. Casto with a huge hole shot advantage, but that is made up by Oden at the 60-foot marker, and Oden carries it on through, and he'll go to the semifinals.
It was a pretty good round. We spun the tires really, really bad coming out of the line, so we was a little bit off that time. Hopefully we can go back, make some adjustments, and get down the track a whole lot better next round.
All day, even before the rain, everybody's been struggling 60-foot.
Right.
You've been struggling yourself?
We have been. We're about 5 100ths off on the 60-foot right now, and I think that round we may have struggled even more than that.
That's just a green track, right?
It is, and there's a lot of rubber rolled up on the starting line, and you know, there's so many adjustments you can make, and we just didn't quite pick the right one that time, but we're going to go back and do better next round.
Tim Hall in the Scalded Dog Rambler right there, the 1967 AMC Rambler. Scott Wallace up next in the Indian Express, the 1950 Pontiac Chieftain. He'll be in the Quick Time Performance left lane out of Ellery, Illinois. Those staging matchup, Tim Hall goes in first. Scott Wallace trying to bump in ever so shallow. Tim Hall with his best elapsed time of the day right there as he goes into the semifinals with a bye run.
Mr. Hall, we had a little bit of a rain delay.
Yep. I was really surprised that we back racing, to be honest with you. It poured down rain pretty hard, and sun came out, and they did a great job working on track, and here we are. So
how was that pass for you?
That was the quickest one of the day. I'm still pecking away at the tune, messing with jetting, timing, everything else, trying to get where I need to be. So it's moving in the right direction. So
the Buckeye Nationals, brought to you by Decked Out Restoration, has SEGA shaping up nicely. We heard all the competitors discussing 60-foot times. Here is a man that knows the importance of 60-foot times. 6-time Top Fuel champion and NHRA YouTube sensation Clay Milliken to explain why the first 60 feet is so crucial.
60 foot. Why are racers always talking about it? And I mean, it's constant. We got this little piece of paper and we're studying it like we done bought something that we're trying to figure out how to keep the wife from finding out about it. That is a normal racer thing. 60 foot, 60 foot, 60 foot. Why are we always talking about it? Because it's pretty simple. Whether you're in a gasser or a top fuel car, the quicker you can get your race car moving and cover that first 60 foot, the better the scoreboard is going to look at the finish line. And here's part of the reason why. You can get your car moving, whether it be with more horsepower, gear ratio, that sort of things. And the reason it helps your ET so much is because doing that first part early, even if you run out of horsepower, you're still going to have a better 60 foot. Let's think about it. It takes the average human about 1/10 of a second to blink. And if we can gain 1/10 of a second in the 60 foot, the scoreboard is going to reward you big time. So the next time you see a racer studying that little piece of paper, they are most likely looking at their 60 foot time because it's the easiest way to improve your elapsed time. And that's what all of us racers are always trying to do. Make that elapsed time better, but it starts getting your car moving the first 60 feet.
Thank you for that, Clay. And rain or shine, please keep in mind, not only is it the amazing crew of the Southeast Gassers Association that help keep this great event going, it's also the amazing sponsors. We couldn't do it without them, and we can't do it without you. So let's get on to some amazing B-Gas Round 2 action.
So Mike Blackwell in the Thunderstruck 55 T-Bird, he'll be in the right lane. In the left lane, going to be Daniel Haynes out of Holly Springs, South Carolina in that 1962 Ford Falcon that he calls the Patriot. Daniel Haynes has got a win streak going here at Xenia Dragway. I think he's won the last 2 races that we have raced here Mike Blackwell gets treed by Daniel Haynes, and that's all it took as Daniel Haynes out-ETs him and moves into the semifinals.
Let's see. I ain't mad about that. That's by far the best pass all day. Track's way better after the rain.
Okay, so everyone's been talking about they've been having trouble 60 foot today.
Yeah. Still, but better.
Okay, so what can we look for next round?
The next round's going to be good. I think I'm going to be dealing with Ted McKee. He's the baddest man on the property today in big ads. So I got my work cut out on me, but yeah, that was pretty good light too.
Number 1 qualifier, Ted McKee out of Lenore City, Tennessee in the Rocky Top Missile. Sits in the left-hand side with Gene Fulton Power underneath the hood. Berger's car called the Iceman Cometh. His wife Roxanne bringing him back. Looks as if Ted McKee has a leak right there. It's going to be a single right here for Rod Bergner. Rod Bergner is going to go on and advance and take on Daniel Haynes in the next round.
Well, you know, we started racing on the ice up in northern Wisconsin in 1965. I did that for many years. Moved down to Texas and found this organization 6 years ago. And I started with my 55, the Undertaker. This is my 4th year with this car. And we're just out here having a good time, man.
I try to be impartial, but the motor sounded really good.
It's a little gem. Lamar Walden Automotive. It's an old Ryer Morrison motor with Lee Shepherd heads on it, and Rob Walden freshened it up for me a couple years ago, and I had it sitting there. My A-gas motor got tired, so I put this in and went to B-gas, and it's doing all right.
The dirt man, Rick Varner, the number 5 qualifier here today in his 55 Chevy with the Jeff Taylor big block underneath the hood. And in the mortgage options lane, that's going to be Ken Rainwater, the number 2 qualifier out of Kimberly, Alabama. Winner of this one's going to get a bye into the finals. Almost identical at 60 feet. And Rainwater pulls ahead at the 330 and takes it on to win.
All right, I had to change transmissions, and I used Quain's, which was my backwards ratios on there, so I just had to take a shot at it. And it was a pretty good run. Rainwater's pretty quick, but it slowed me down 1/10 with this transmission, and it's racing. That's how it goes. Win some, lose some.
It's not often you have 4 gears, right?
That's right. I need them all.
There you have it, your B-Gas Round 2 results. Rain or shine, these racers are having a good time. Let's go to David for the call and check out some A-Gas action.
First one going to be Todd Blackwell and Kenneth Phillips. Big one right here, folks. Kenneth Phillips wins. It was a margin of victory of 0.03 of a second. Battle of the big cars right here. Man, look at the smoke right there that these guys did. They got those Mickey Thompsons really sticky. Over in the mortgage option lane, you find Greg Stelz out of Wapaka, Wisconsin. In the Joker, the 1957 Pontiac. Chase Howard, Greer, South Carolina, going to be in that USA 167 Chevelle Super Sport. Howard all out of control. His car's waggling around. He doesn't get out of it, and he drives by him. Wow, the rear end sashaying all around the racetrack for Chase Howard, but he keeps his right foot buried in the floorboard, and he wins. Wayne Stott, who sits in the right-hand side in the mortgage options lane in the 48 Anglia that he calls the Executioner 2. Number 1 qualifier, Leslie Horn, in the quick time performance lane here on the left-hand side with the 55 Chevy, the Chick Magnet. Stott, the number 6 qualifier. Once again, Leslie Horn was the number 1 qualifier here today. You can throw those out the window because we're head-to-head. And he trees Leslie Horn. Oh, my goodness. The veteran Wayne Stott puts that good brain to use, and he plays cat and mouse with him and leaves Leslie Horn sitting at the line.
What a race to finish off that round in A-Gas. Another thing you should know about the Southeast Gassers Association is these racers are not just competing for a win and a trophy at each event, they are also accumulating points to be the overall winner for the season. Each racer gets 10 points for showing up, 5 points for each qualifying pass they make, and 5 points for each round win. In coming episodes, we will be paying particular attention to the points as the season really starts to take shape. Let's get back to David and the call for SEGA semifinals.
All right, Tim Hall right there in the quick time performance lane. Got some interested onlookers out there to see what this run looks like for him. Good run right there for Tim Hall. Let's serve and notice that he's ready for the finals. Josh Pruitt in the 63 Ford fair lane in the left-hand side, the quick time performance lane. He's been there a couple of times already today and won out of there. Todd Oden in the 58 Delray going to be in the mortgage options lane on the right side. Todd Oden, the winner of our race, most recent race at Shady Side Dragway, as he continues to try to put together a round winning streak and get to another final. Standing in his way is the young blood right here of Josh Pruitt. Todd Oden wins. He takes the win right there. His elapsed time looking very close. We got a good-looking SEGAS final coming up.
So Todd Oden and Tim Hall are going head-to-head in the SEGAS finals, a position they've both been in quite a lot this year. Now let's go to BGAS semifinals.
So it looks like Ken Rainwater has elected to go ahead and take his bye run before the run of Bergner and Hayes on that matchup. And Rainwater's going to elect to save his parts and save his equipment and just take a Saturday afternoon drive here at Kil-Kare Dragway. So he'll be out there ready to go in the finals against either Rod Bergner or Daniel Haynes. Rod Bergner, the Iceman, going to be in the mortgage options lane on the right-hand side. Daniel Haynes right here going to be in the left lane in that 62 Ford Falcon. Bergner, the Iceman, backing up, being backed up by his wife, Roxanne. Mary Beth Haynes backing up her husband, Daniel. Reaction time going to Daniel Haynes, and that car's going straight. He's going to be hard to beat. And hard to beat he is as Daniel Haynes marches on to the finals where he'll take on Ken Rainwater.
Daniel Haynes in the Patriot will take on Ken Rainwater in Renegade for your BGAS finals. AGAS has had a ton of upsets today, so let's see the racers run in the semis in AGAS.
Kenneth Phillips going to be here in the left-hand side. Wayne Stott going to be over there in the mortgage options lane in that Executioner 2 small block Fulton Chevy. Winner of this one going to take on Chase Howard in the finals. Let's see if Wayne Stott can pull another rabbit out of the hat right here and rattle the 17-time winner, Kenneth Phillips. Phillips is already in both cars in pre-stage. Phillips goes in. Stott waiting and taking his time. He knows he's got 7 seconds. And Stott does it again. Kenneth Phillips red lights. Wayne Stott has pulled it out again. The veteran driver, last 35 years of racing experience. And he will be going to the finals versus Chase Howard. Once again, as always, Trent Howard bringing his brother back to the beams. So Chase Howard going to make his pass right here. Good run right there for Chase Howard. So that sets up our finals. Chase Howard versus Quayne Stott in our AGAS.
AGAS finals will be Chase Howard against Quayne Stott.
First up, we're going to have our SEGA final. It's going to be Todd Oden out of Birmingham, Alabama, the winner of our last race at Shadyside. He's going to be taking on a guy that he's friends with, but the friendship's going to be over until this race is over right here today, and that is two-time and defending champ Tim Hall, a man that everybody's been chasing in SEGA for years now. can't pay them on paper, but if I'm looking at my paper up here, their ETs are at the narrowest of margins. This race to be won at the starting line, but I tell you what, two great competitors right here. Two of our warriors in SEGA going to go at it right here. Good lead by both drivers, almost identical reaction times. It appears that Todd Oden has them at half track, and Todd Oden takes the win. That is 2 victories in a row for Todd Oden as his win streak is pushed to 2. Something must have happened about the 330 mark for Tim Hall as he fell off greatly after that.
Tell me about the day.
This day was a challenge. You can look at the car and tell we parked down in a mud hole, looked like I've been dirt tracking. We changed everything you could possibly change. I just want to thank my crew chief, Joey Reed. Joey made everything happen today. The one-way guys were here. I can't say enough about this one-way technology horsepower. I feel like Ohio owed us one. We've been here all these times. We've had trucks break down. We've blown up engines. We figured out every way you could possibly mess up, but today it was just a good day. I'm thrilled.
Tell me about your final pass. Just take me through it.
Final pass was our best pass of the day, and that's how you always want it to be. We had the best light of the day. We had a 01 light. Car ran the best time of the day, best 60 foot, best 330. You couldn't ask for it to be better. I just want to jump up and down right now because I'm happy to win, I promise.
So for the second time in a row, Todd Oden squared up against Tim Hall, and Todd brings home the win.
Ken Rainwater, another Alabama resident out of Kimberly, Alabama, in the Renegade. He's over here in the right-hand side. He's going to be taking on Daniel Haynes out of Holly Springs, South Carolina. This makes his 5th final here. If Daniel Haynes can punch his ticket today, that'll be 3 wins out of 5 finals he's been to here at Kil-Kare Dragway. But standing in his way is going to be Ken Rainwater. Ford versus Chevy matchup right here. The 62 Ford Falcon of Haynes, the 66 Chevy 2 of Rainwater. Good drag race right here. The incrementals favor Haynes. Daniel Haynes, 3 wins out of 5 finals here at Kil-Kare Dragway for Daniel Haynes as he takes the victory here tonight.
Man, today didn't start off real well. We had done a massive amount of work to the car in the last 3 weeks. We had some stuff broken, some framework, some ladder bars. Redid the car from one end to the other. First qualifying pass, it headed to the right pretty hard. We made some adjustments on it, and hey, the car picked up all day, and turns out I did my job.
Tell me a little bit about your history here.
We like Ohio quite a bit. We've been here 5 times. We've been to the final 5 times, and we've won the last 3.
It's that Ohio accent that you have.
Right.
What was the toughest part of today for you?
Man, it was going out for that second qualifying pass really was the toughest time because I didn't know what was going to happen. Went out, qualified 4th. It wasn't fast, but it wasn't slow. And it's been faster and faster all day, and hey, it went straight. That's what I was really looking for today.
Congratulations to Daniel Haynes on your B-Gas win. Here is your A-Gas finals.
Last 2 warriors coming around, the fastest air on the planet. Chase Howard, Greer, South Carolina, is going to be in the quick time performance lane on the left-hand side in his 67 Chevelle Super Sport. The USA 1, the 48 Anglia of Wayne Stott's, a sub 90-inch wheelbase. Scott Duggan's car race engine underneath the hood for Chase Howard. Stott been able to use a lot of his veteran driving experience against other drivers here in the quarterfinals and semifinals to outwit them on the racetrack. Howard goes into pre. Let's see. Stott goes into stage. Here we go, folks. Howard all over the racetrack. Howard in a whoa! Howard touches the wall, but just barely touches the wall. He's going to be fine, folks, but that car got out of control. Luckily, not a hard hit for Chase Howard. That car got out of control. Chase Howard touches the wall. Nothing bad. I think he's already moving around and out of the car. Wayne Stott will take the victory here while our attention goes to Chase Howard.
Last pass of the night was pretty good. All I'm going to say is if anybody thinks it was easy to win that race, you come and get in this car and try it, because it's been a handful all day. I bet you I worked harder than anybody here to win it, because this thing has fought me tooth and nail all day. So it worked out in our favor. So thank goodness we're here, and proud of what Les and them's doing with Southeast Gasser Association. He's got a good crew running it, and I'm just tickled to have a good place for us to race, and so that's, you know, it's making me proud of what they're doing with it.
Someone who's never been to a race, how do you put a button to see? What do you tell them?
Why would somebody come to a Southeast Gasser race? Because it's the only racing organization in the world where a working man can come and race first to finish line wins and feel like he's won something, and the bleachers be full. Now, they weren't today, but we had rain all day and still had a decent crowd. So Southeast Gasser Association is exactly what it was started to be. It's a good place for the working man to come and race and feel like you've done something when you win a race, because I can promise you it's tough to win.
Congratulations, Quayne, and Chase Howard is okay. He's got a lot of work between now and the next event to get his car put back together, but all the safety equipment did its job. So that's it for the Buckeye Nationals, brought to you by Decked Out Restorations from Kil-Kare Raceway. Join us next time when we come to you from Knoxville Dragway in Knoxville, Tennessee. For Powertube TV and the Southeast Gassers Association, I'm Mike Narks. We'll see you next time.